Hey, how's it going? I haven't done one of these in a while, so I'm sorry if I just popped up in your timeline and you're like, what the fuck? You could turn it off or disregard if you want, but I was thinking I was going to write a passage about this, and I thought, well, I'll just do a video because, it'll be maybe quicker and it could be more descriptive in the storytelling of this particular tale I'm about to weave. Well, not weave, it actually did happen, but tell you in the way that I'm going to tell it. That I posted a Waffle House graphic earlier. You'll see it right below, because this is like the next post up. I haven't posted anything between that, and got me thinking about the night I was christened Haku. And it was and for those of you who don't know who Haku is, he's a professional wrestler from the 70s, mostly known in the 80s, 90s. He was also known as Meng. And he's the Tongan warrior. He's a legit badass. There's stories about him fucking people up for real and getting into shoots and stuff. And the ring, meaning a match, a wrestling match would become real in a way of how he hits, or if he just pops you, a real punch in a match. But anyway, so he's very, a lot of old school fans remember him. Even people who don't watch wrestling anymore would still remember Haku stuff. And I think he was also associated with Lou Albano at one point, and as a manager and whatever. So people remember him. But anyway, fast forward to this whole deal. But again, a bit more of a preface. I used to go to a lot of wrestling shows back in the early 2000s, all throughout the 2000s in Philly. And I met a group of friends there whom some of them I still keep in touch with here on Facebook, and had seen in recent years at other shows, because I stopped going at a certain point. But early in the 2000s, I was going to a lot of shows, and went to CZW, Ring of Honor, 3PW, and WWE would come to town. TNA would come to town and see those shows. PWU, any small show that came around to go. Friends would take road trips up north to see Jersey All Pro and Ring of Honor at the Regsplex, Rest its soul, with the great IKEA and Swedish meatball gimmicks. It was great. And I think it was 2003. I saw this thing on you used to go on these message boards. There was a CZW fans message board, which was tremendous, and there was information on there about a bus trip to go to see this company in the Midwest called IWA MidSouth, and it had this tournament called King of the Death Matches. So I was like, this sounds awesome. I put in my deposit. I paid the trip. I talked to the dude who was running it, Mike King, online and stuff, and then I knew people who were going to the shows and stuff, because I was already going to shows in Philly, so that was cool. And then we took the bus trip out to Indiana, saw a weekend of death matches, and it was tremendous, and we loved it, and still one of the greatest weekends ever in my life. It was so awesome. So that was August of 2003. So fast forward to November 2003. And IWA was having their next big tournament of the year, which is a Ted Petty Invitational, a tribute to Rocco Rock, one of the Public Enemy, one of the great wrestlers of the early '90s and stuff at ECW. And it was originally called Sweet Science Invitational, and it was just it was their technical showcase, because they were we're not just a blood and guts company. We have technical matches, technical wrestlers, and it was great, man. It was a great tournament. I met AJ Styles that weekend. I met Sanjay Dutt that weekend. I met Alice in Danger. I met Ken Anderson, Kamikaze Ken Anderson, before it was Ken Kennedy, and met other wrestlers there. It was it was cool. It was another great weekend. I got to talk to Ian. He was really nice, and so it was a two night event. It was Friday, Saturday. And we're leaving Sunday. But this time it wasn't a bus trip that was organized. It was it was like the core of that bus trip group, and then like we just caravanned. It was like separate. You know, I went with two of my friends, and everyone else like caravan. Some people caravan with wrestlers and stuff from the East Coast down to that show. So we saw the 2 nights. It was awesome. So Saturday night's done, and I think both nights we went. So like there's like a Waffle House like right next to the hotel we're staying at. It's like right in the parking lot. Go right in, you know. So it was very convenient. So we're like, you know, shit, it's 24 hours. You know, let's go, because, you know, the concessions. I don't remember what concessions they had. Maybe hot dogs. I don't remember what they had at the TPI. Drinks and stuff, snacks probably, most likely and stuff. So we're like all kind of beat. You know, like we're just sitting around like we're like pretty energetic. I think the first night, second night we're just like, all right. End of the night, end of the tour. You know, we're all going home tomorrow. Like, I'll go get up and check out early in the morning and leave and stuff. You know, because we all organize on our own and stuff, and also. So, it's the second night, Saturday night. Sitting there with my friends. We're all sitting in a group. We're all like got tabled together. We came in. It was like, well, I came in as a group. Me and my friends. We sit at the table, and I probably ordered already. Because I think I remember eating. And I remember like, the wrestlers also came there too. The wrestlers would come there from the show, from the TPI, from the IWA MidSouth show, the TPI show. They came there as well to eat, and they'd sit with us, you know, these cool guys like Chris Hero and all these other dudes and stuff. So I'm sitting there eating. We're just like, you know, whatever, quiet, mumbling, blah, 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 you know. I remember it was a bit quiet. All of a sudden I hear, Haku! It's Haku! It's Haku! And like confusion, just like, and I look up, and it's one of the wrestlers from IWA, Thoroughbred Brad Bradley, big fucking boy, big dude, man. He was like 6'3", fucking built out of muscles and shit. He was like old. He did like the heel, kind of old school gimmick, really cool. Like just a heel, just, you know, didn't give a shit about fans, whatever. Just go in there, beat his opponent's ass, get out the ring, you know, win. And he looks like a little kid. He's like marking out, and like Chris Hero's there, and the other wrestlers. I'm sorry, I don't remember the other wrestlers there, but I remember Chris Hero because Chris Hero was like, shh, like keeping it, because like. Walk in a restaurant, and like I also have to say I have really long dark hair. Like it's longer than this. I had like it was like big, you know. I had to have bigger hair or whatever, and like went way down to my ass. So it was like, so I had really long hair, I guess, and just the look. I guess I may have had. I don't even remember if I had facial hair. I probably had a goatee or something. I was like sporting some kind of facial hair at the time. But yeah, they're like freaking out. They're like, it's Haku. And then people start realizing, they're like pointing, they're like, dude, they're talking about you, man. They're talking about you, my friend. And I'm just like, no. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. Like, I'm in the corner. Who cares about me? And it's like, I'm like, dude, I'm not Haku. My name's Art. He goes, no, man, you're Haku. And it was Chris Hero, somebody, but it was like, dude, you're Haku. Just, you know, fucking follow the path, you know. So it was fucking great. And just became like a laugh riot. Like everybody's just fucking cracking up the rest of the night. And he's still like, dude, it's Haku. And it's Haku. It's, you know, it's, and I'm just like, oh my God. Like, whoa, it was hilarious, man. It was just it was like fucking so funny. And like, so I already had a nickname, man. Like when we took the bus trip in the summer to see the King of the Death match, we were watching videos on the bus, and we were watching like SummerSlam, like I don't know, like early '90s one or whatever. And like Pat Tanaka, and who was his tag partner? Was it Doug Furnace? I can't remember. He had a tag partner in Paul Diamond. Was it Paul Diamond? I don't know. Maybe Paul Diamond, I guess. But Pat Tanaka had this tag match or something, and like they're coming to ring, and I'm like, say that I'm sitting in the bus, and I hear Artie Shimko, Artie Shimko. And I'm like, huh? I look up and there's fucking like Pat Tanaka hair out. And, you know, apparently I was kind of a doppelganger for him. I'm like a few doppelgangers, man. My friend Rick Gillespie always says I'm Eddie Bravo's twin brother or something. So, you know, for all you conspiracy theorists out there, you may know who the MMA fighter Eddie Bravo is. He's been on Joe Rogan, and the same episode as Alex Jones. So that was funny enough. So I was already like, oh, like, am I Pat Tanaka? Am I Haku? Well, Haku stuck. Just enough people were there to witness what happened, and so from then on out, I was Haku. Like every time I go to a show, Haku, Haku, Haku. Like everybody, like even people who like I didn't really know from the trip, but like kind of knew or was Haku, Haku, Haku. Like I'd come up with Tongan Death War and a Tongan Death Grip, and I was like, so. And you know, even like Chris Hero, like I like, you know, Cassius Ohno in WWE, but he's fucking great. Every time I see him, he's always like Shimko, but sometimes he'll be like Haku. It's like so funny. But he was the one trying to calm down Brad Bradley when Brad Bradley like marked out on me. Haku, it's Haku, and I'm just like, all right. I'm like, cool, man. I'm like, awesome or whatever. But you know, and some people were like, yeah, they hear people call me Haku, and maybe they see it, or they're just like, oh yeah, I'll just go along with it, yeah, Haku, and you know, it's been like many years later. But if ever, you know, some people are like, oh yeah, I know, it's like people always call you Haku at the shows. I'm like, that's why. And like, I remember like a friend at the time, I was like, dude, I'm like, you don't watch wrestling anymore. I'm like, but you remember Haku, and I'm like, this guy thought and my friend at the time was like, yeah, I have to say that fits. So, but anyway, I think I'm done with that story, and I hope you enjoyed it, whomever watched it. And you know, good afternoon, Brisbane. Good morning, Manila. Good evening, San Francisco, and Philadelphia and Austin. Good night.